Welcome to the last video in this series, and we're going to go over the summon. We're going to set it up and make it controllable. So to start, check out the video description. There should be a link to get all the assets. And once you have that, you can pause the video, get that, and follow along. So in character, I put the wolf skeletal mesh. Just going to show it. And then in Mage animations, I have a summon folder, and in here I have all his animations. Again, in the Mage, I have another folder here called summon. I have his animation blueprint, his blend space, and his actual blueprint. So the animation blueprint has some of the basic things again, just like the boss. So here you have the whole set speed and the basic stuff at the start. Cast a character, cast a wolf BP, and then I promote this to a variable, and it becomes this. Then I have two animation montage. I have attack and I have heal. In attack, I just used barking, and in heal, I used howl. So let's go on, and in BPI underscore debuff and BPI underscore menu, I added some things. So in debuff, I added heal player. I was just too lazy to make another blueprint interface for this tutorial. And in BPI menu, I don't know why, but I split this up into summon underscore boss, summon underscore player. These are basically going to be called on by the player, and this one is going to be called on by the wolf, heal player. Let's go into the Mage blueprint, and here, when I press F, all these conditions have to be met. So if I'm alive, not dodging, I have enough burst, not charging, not casting, and I'm not attacking. So once all of these are true, it sets casting to true, so I can't keep clicking F over and over anyway. Burst would be subtracted, so I wouldn't be able to spam anyway. And here burst is subtracted by 100, so it goes back to 0. Then I play animation montage for summoning animation. This could be anything really in the Mage, you can decide. Then I spawn the wolf. This is a custom event that spawns actor, and the actor is wolf underscore BP. And I'm going to explain the location in a bit. For the actor, when you spawn it, in return value, you want to drag out a pin and type spawn default controller. This is so your wolf can move around. Next, you want to promote this to a variable. This return value, promote to variable, and I called it wolf underscore BP. Now the spawning location, I have a sphere here called summon location. So wherever that sphere is, that's where the wolf gets spawned. Ideally, you would want them to spawn at the center of the level, so you can always get the coordinates either at the center or the start of the level, somewhere where they won't get spawned outside of the level boundaries, or they won't get spawned inside of a wall or something like that. So that's up to you to figure out where you want to spawn him, but me, I put it to in front of the player. Next, let's have a look at the wolf and see what he does. So in wolf blueprint, first off, I have a collision sphere, and I called it mouth, and here the socket is jaw. So we're going to use this, that when it overlaps the enemy, it hurts him. But we're going to get to that in a second. Let's start with the event begin play. After a 0.2 second delay, here there's a variable called go target. I'm going to show you guys where I make this variable after. But go target gets set to the player character, and then we run a function called seeker. This is just like the boss when it chases the player. Then we set a timer to loop at 0.1 seconds, and it's distance check. Pretty much the same thing as the boss, where it checks the distance between himself and the player, but in the wolf's case it'll be himself and the target. Then it has an event called initialize. This event, what it does, it sets health to 60. Health is basically the duration of the wolf. So here it's 60 because it's 60 seconds. And here I set a timer, and it loops every 1 second. The function is called life, and what it does, it subtracts the wolf's life. So it gets health, subtracts by 1, and clamps the values from 0 to 60. Then it sets the health, and there's a branch that checks if health is set to 0. The moment it's set to 0, you run a function called kill, which I'm going to show after too. So back to initialize. Once health has been set and the timer has been set, here we take care of the wolf's widgets. This is just a widget that counts down from 60 to 0. I'm going to cover that later. And this is the kill function here from the life subtracting function. So kill does once, plays the animation on the wolf, and after a delay, when the animation is done playing, it's going to destroy the actor. This is pretty much it for initializing and killing the summon. Next, let's have a look at seek player. So the seeker. Now this seeker, it's pretty much the same thing as the boss, but I made a macro. A macro is a compressed graph. So it's just another piece of the graph, but it's not here unless you double click this. You would go into it, kind of like a do once. If you double click do once, you kind of end up in another place. It's a macro. So seeker checks if you're attacking. If you are, you stop character movement. If you aren't, you go through this little macro. You go through all of its little nodes, and then you come out, delay, and you run seeker again. Let's have a look at chase. So this macro checks if the target, the go target, is existing in the level. If it's valid, if it is, it continues down. And the way we set it to valid was right here at event begin play, when we set player character to go target. This means that this thing is valid. So we continue down, and we have an AI move too, just like the boss had. So target actor, you promote to variable, and I called it go target. Now this week it switched to player or boss, and the wolf will go to either the player or the boss. In pawn, you want it to set to self. Acceptance radius, you can play around with that. I put it to 120. Then all three of these pins go into outputs. And that output, I'm going to show you where it is. That output is right here. So from seeker, and it goes into delay and runs the event seeker again. So this is basically the loop that makes him chase after a specific target. Now we have two things that can happen. So if your target is the player, well, he's going to heal if he's in range, and if it's the boss, then he's going to attack if he's in range. And the way to find out if he's in range is if we go back to our event begin play. After seeker, there was a timer called distance check. We loop this function, and this is pretty much the same thing as the boss for checking distance. I'm just going to break it down quickly. So you check if the character is attacking. If he isn't, you continue down, and this branch here is going to check. It's going to get the go target, and it's going to get its actual location, and it's going to get the actual location of the wolf. Subtract the two, you get the vector length, and if it's less than or equal to 300, it can proceed. That means you're in range of attacking or healing. This is really up to you to modify it to your liking. Then when it continues down, the first thing it checks is the go target here. If you're in range of that go target, and if that go target is player, then you're going to heal him. If it's not, you're going to attack him. So this branch has, you drag this out and you type equal 2 times. Oh, sorry, you drag out go target, you get, and you type equal 2 times. Your second one, you can plug it into get player character, and then the rest goes into the branch. So if your target is player, then you're going to heal. If it's not, you're going to attack. So let's have a look at that stuff. Here we have attack and heal. And here we have commands that make him chase player or boss, and I'm going to get into that in a bit. So attack or heal, that gets called from the distance check. They check if the character is attacking again, and if he isn't, attacking gets set to true, and montages are played. So here's the attack montage, and here's the healing montage. Then, in each of these montages, can I show you guys? So in the attack montage, for example, or here in the heal, since we're covering heal, you have heal player and you have reset, animation notifies, and also don't forget to set this to body in your anim graph. So state machine slot that sets the body. Now going back into the wolf's animation blueprint, this variable that I set called wolf pp, I can get it and I can call it for these events, but this is for attack, so I'm just gonna move these down, and you have the reset. Since we had a reset animation notify in our wolf's montage, you want to call this custom event in the wolf called reset, and I'm going to show you what it is. Also for heal player, that animation notify, you get player character and you set it to the target. In BPI underscore debuff, we had a function called heal player, and this gets messaged, and if you go to the Mage blueprint, it says heal player from wolf here. That's our event from the blueprint interface, heal player. It gets the health, adds whatever, 30. Here you could put float, random float in range. And then it clamps from 0 to 100 because that's our max health for the mage, and then it sets the health. That's pretty much it. That's how the wolf gets to heal the player if he's in range. So, a recap, it checks the distance. If it's less than 300, and if the target is equal to player character, it's going to heal him. Now if it's not, it goes into attack. Attack has the wolf attack animation montage, so let's look at that one. You have E-call, D-call, enable collision, disable collision, and reset. I know I didn't show reset yet, but I'm just going to go over the collisions and then show you the reset. Here we go. So, enable collision and disable collision. There's two custom events inside of our wolf blueprint. And all they do is they take that sphere on his head and they enable or disable the collisions on it. Now reset sets attacking to false and calls the event seeker. That's because if you were attacking, you would stop movement immediately and you would stop looping this function. So in a reset, it's going to call that function again, since attacking is set to false. And if it's set to false, it'll continue looping. Now, dealing damage with the mouth, that sphere there that we had, it's pretty simple. Here you have the overlapping event, and if the actor has tag, and it's called boss, you continue on. And then damaged actor is other actor, or you can even plug in go target into it. But I just did it with other actor. So random float in range for the damage, and it's instigated by the player controller. So even if you were to get hit by this capsule, it wouldn't affect you. But anyways, it can only affect anyone with a tag called boss. So this is just a just in case thing. Now, how do we control the wolf to attack the boss or go to the player? Let's go into our BPI menu, and here we had summon boss and summon player. Now our mage already has this inside in class settings. Let's see, debuff and menu. These two blueprint interfaces are there. So if I press 1, my wolf BP, which was set right here, when I spawned the actor, I promoted this to a variable, and it set it to wolf underscore BP, the name. So with this, I go and I put it into the target for the messages for these two custom events. So summon player and summon boss. In the wolf, he has BPI menu, so I have these two events right here. Event summon player and event summon boss. Summon player is fairly simple. You set to go target, and you get player character and you plug it in the target. And since our seeker function is looping, this target gets switched and the wolf follows the target. Same thing goes with the boss, but here it's just a bit more things. Now when you want him to attack the boss, you get actors of all class. For each loop, in the array element, you want to check if the actor has tag called boss, and if it's true, you want to set go target to that array element. So regardless of what boss you have, as long as they have this tag, it's gonna work. And this is pretty much on how the summon works. I'm just gonna show his widget. So here there's a progress bar and the text to indicate the name. And there's the progress bar has a binding. So let me go to it. Here, percentage, it has a binding. Now it gets actor of all class, and that class is wolf underscore BP. For each loop, it's gonna cast a wolf underscore BP. It's gonna get his health divided by 60. This is the number of seconds he's on the game for. And then it sets the return value. And both cast failed and this execution node are plugged into the return node. That pretty much covers up how to make the controllable AI, where he can go to you, or he can go to the boss and he can either heal you or attack the boss. But when he goes to you, you can have anything. You can make him boost your defense, your attack. It's really up to you to decide and get creative. And that's pretty much it for this video and the tutorial series. So thanks for watching. If you're listening to this, then you have probably completed the entire series of videos that I had posted. So now you can make a hack and slash game the way you want. And I was thinking that I continue producing blueprint tutorials for these sort of games. And if you would like me to continue and you want to support that, there's a link in the video description. It's a Gumroad link, and you can purchase any of my other tutorials from it. And apart from that, be sure to upload a video of what you have made so far with the notions you gathered in this series, and post it in the comments below, and I'll have a look at it. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next ones.